Welcome to episode 140 of Both Down, the number one Blood Bowl podcast.
In the lands of Hockland.
The lands of Hockland.
Yeah.
Where's Hockland?
The land Hockland? Man, you don't read your stuff very well.
I do, I just don't remember it well, so it's kind of a different thing.
I might be pronouncing it wrong. I am Scott Prime, and that is Steve Gilliwaggy Campbell.
How's it going?
Good, how you doing, my man?
Hanging on. Not killing anybody yet, so.
Well, I guess that's good. I'm tired of hearing about you hanging on. I want you to tell me, life is really great.
Give me a month.
All right. 1 month, folks.
You
heard that. 1 month. All right.
So.
Welcome.
Yeah. A special Saturday drop. I wonder why.
Yeah. This is interesting. We can get the cat out of the bag. We're going to be reviewing the latest Dungeon Bowl set called Deathmatch and the Spike Almanac. So that's some good news.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. We're also going to be talking about our Dungeon Bowl League because we did start that up.
Yeah, which is ironic because we wanted to start an intimate, smaller little Dungeon Bowl League to just try it out. And we decided how many games we're going to play and et cetera, et cetera. And we'll talk about this ad nauseum in the segment. But we started it before we knew this stuff was coming out.
Yep.
So we were, when we got the email that said this is coming, we were like, holy crap, did they read our minds? Because we just played Dungeon Bowl 4 days ago.
Also, we had about a good 5-6 days. We typically get the email a little early where we're going, what is it? Is it a box? Is it just a tile set? What is it?
Yeah. And we will cover all that in this episode. Now, what we are not going to cover is just to let everybody know, and if you've paid attention to the internet or Facebook or anything like that, you know that I traveled up to Kansas City with Gary and Jennifer, and we will talk about that next episode.
We also had Nuffleween, which we will again talk about next episode.
Right. So we'll have all those details of both of those tournaments next month, a couple weeks from now. We will re-record. We will talk about all those tournament talk of to your heart's content.
Yeah, we'll probably have Jim on to discuss about how US Open went, and hopefully, I think he was meeting with GW in December at some point to talk about it, so maybe it'll be after that point and we can have more of a better idea.
I'm glad you just assumed that he's going to be free and ready to come on with us without asking first.
It's true. It is the holidays. You never know.
All right. Should we just jump into it? Because everything I kind of want to casually talk about is actually our subjects for today. And I don't care. You pick the order. And then let's take a break and come back and let's get to it. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's start with the league, and then we'll get into the releases.
Sounds great. All right, so we are back. We, as in me and Steve, Gary Brown, Matt Strickland, Drew Bucciacone, and our buddy Ben Burns, decided to try out some Dungeon Bowl. I guess the genesis was basically we wanted to kind of try it out. So we thought the best format to do that would be a league.
Yeah, that makes sense. But doing one-offs I don't care what version of Blood Bowl it is, doing one-offs does not appeal to me.
No, I totally agree with that. So what we did is there was 6 of us. We randomly drew 3 teams per person. So we let I can't remember who picked first, but let's say it was Gary.
Yeah.
We gave him 3 teams randomly and he got to pick one of those. I believe Drew went last. So everybody got to have a choice of at least 3 teams to pick from.
And let me just go ahead. I'll go ahead and run through it real quick and say who got what.
Yeah, you can do that.
So I got the College of Fire. Drew got College of Heavens.
Which he complained about, by the way. He didn't think they would look that interesting.
Yeah. Matt got College of Shadow. You got College of Beasts.
Yeah.
Ben got College of Death. And Gary got College of Metal.
So when we started this, I was unsure like how fluffy we were going to get. And back when we were children, or junior high and high school, when we played Dungeon Bowl, and we made up new iterations of the league and stuff like that. Robert had a team, a mixed race team called the Coraline Beasts, and this was obviously before the movie Coraline, and it was in. You probably heard me talk about it before in the past. It's kind of like supposed to be where like the Carolinas are in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
so in Nagareth, but it's all like big coral reefs and sharp, jagged, just in kind of an evil Snake Mountainish looking area. And that was his team. And I loved that team name. He had that Goblin Rebel Crunch, who did amazing things, even though he shouldn't have. And as I said, as soon as if I get the College of Beasts, I'm taking them no matter what. I'm gonna call them the Coraline Beasts. Well, I drafted them without really looking at them, and I thought, they're not so great actually. But then we decided to actually use the fluffy team names from the fluff. So I'm the Storm Bolts, not even
Yeah.
the Coraline Beasts.
I kind
And
of did the same thing in a way. Like, I thought for whatever reason that Amazons were in College of Fire. So that's why I took
mm,
that. Because in my
that's
head,
because your brain told you
yeah,
your
yep,
Amazons were from a volcano.
exactly. So that's exactly what happened. And my team does not have Amazons, but I am the Blazing Axes. Amazons are in College of Heavens, which Drew has, which is the Celestial Comets. And then Matt's with the Shadow team, the Umbral Blades, Ben's College of Death, the Black Widows, and the College of Metal by Gary is Iron Hawks.
Yeah, so we decided to stick fluffy.
Yeah.
We
Not our
let
own
everybody
fluff, but
else.
the fluff of the game.
Yeah, I thought it'd just be kind of fun, at least for the first season. Um, we committed to 5 games for the season,
Mm-hmm.
with the option of after we play like 2 weeks of the season, if we feel like this is not enough, we will double it. So it would be a round robin. Everybody plays everybody. Um, and how I'm working the playoffs is the top 3 teams get into the top 4,
Mm-hmm.
and then the bottom 3 teams, almost like a ladder. So 5 and 6 have to play each other just to play 4. The winner of 5, or I'm sorry, 4, and the winner of 5-6 gets that kind of like wild card spot into the playoffs of the
Sure.
4 teams. So um thoughts. I mean, I don't even know.
I mean, just in general. I mean, it's
Well, I'll
so
start first.
okay.
I'll start first. um Once I saw the College of Beasts, it, man, they want you to buy like a lizard man. You get 3 of the 4. You can get a lizard. I'm sorry, a Croxagore, a rat ogre, a minotaur, or a blood spawn,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds cool, having a bunch of big guys. But I noticed my team, out of every team, not one person comes with block or dodge. Well, I shouldn't say that. My beer bores start with dodge, but they're useless. My thought was is that I have no skills that also give me rerolls. So I bought 3 rerolls up front, no big guys to save for it. And I figured since I can get werewolves that they're going to be my bread and butter because they're my fastest pieces
Yeah.
to be kind of aggressive. I took also 3 Chaos Chosen blockers, a couple of corn gores, and then the rest were beast runners, beastman runners, and beer boars. Because the beer boars were so cheap, it allowed me to also save on the rerolls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My team is awful, folks. Like, I truly, I know this is gonna sound like Scott whining, but it's not Scott whining. This team has 0 block. There's nothing in there to give you rerolls because the beer boars are fairly useless, really. Um,
Yeah, there's
I
not a whole lot going for it. There really isn't.
Maybe this team gets good if you get some skills, but I just don't see it. I think by far, my first game I played against Matt Strickland in the College of Shadow We found the ball, I think, right off the bat, if I remember
Yeah, I think it
correctly.
was the
One of my,
first chest because I'd gotten through
uh,
like 5 and blown up every single time on my game.
and then I just was on the defensive the whole game, and it didn't matter. Eventually, Matt scored, and really, he would have, if he could have just rolled a three to catch a little pass, then he would have scored long before then. So, like, I got zero stats. Um, and then my second game I played against the Celestial Comets, which is Drew's team. So not only did I play a good coach. Now, to be fair, I got really close to scoring. I found the ball. I made a move where I marked one of Drew's. What is the new Amazon called that has 4 strength? Is that the Amazon blocker?
Well, sure.
Piranha Warrior or
I
whatever.
don't. Let me look real
The one,
quick.
the 4 strength lady.
4 strength lady, Jaguar warrior blocker.
Okay, the blocker. I marked one of his blockers. I put my werewolf in a position where if Drew did dodge away, he was going to get a -1 to the roll because of a tackle zone. And I just had to take a chance that he rolled bad, and he didn't. He rolled really good and tackled me, and the rest was history because I couldn't tackle his 4 strength piece, and now he has a blodging uh, 4 strength piece already in Dungeon Bowl.
Yeah.
So not only with the Sauruses or the Saurai, he has these Amazons with 4 strength and block dodge, and it's yeah. I mean, Drew starts off with 5 guys with with a block. So I found that interesting. If we look at the other rosters, just to kind of show, like, you have a bunch of dwarves, so you start off with a bunch of block.
Mm-hmm. Slow, but I mean they're effective.
Uh, you're slow. I mean, without a doubt. Matt Strickland has Dark Elf Blitzers and Skaven Blitzers, so he has some block. College of Death has Wraiths and the Ghosts, right? Or is that the same? I'm getting them all mixed up, like an old man. Anyways, there is plenty. The Iron Hawks have orcs and humans, so therefore you have 4 strength black orc blockers, and then you have the human blitzers. So in hindsight, in my opinion, they did not think this through.
Your team.
Yeah.
I
It,
mean it always kind of felt like they just threw that team together because it's
oh,
Nurgle and Korn and just whatever werewolves for some reason. I
yeah.
mean beast makes sense, but still.
I feel like, well, actually, let's not sit here and nitpick like the wrong things. I guess that's the
Sure.
wrong approach to think about that. Um, I had fun.
I
It just,
Go ahead. I was
just
just gonna say I will talk about my first game.
okay.
Um, I kicked it off. Gary and I kicked it off the season, and we played. And it had been a while since we played. Obviously, hadn't played since we play tested the new ones that came in, and we got a lot of the rules wrong. Which we played by the same rules, so it's fair. But I was thinking the teleporters were much more dangerous than they actually are. And we were thinking that if you went through it, you got an automatic casualty roll, not an injury roll. So we
Mm,
were just like straight up hurting people, which I thought was still one step down from just killing them, like in the old version. Although I guess that didn't actually happen.
no.
We forgot about the magic sponge. We thought we could just move people into the reserves by giving up an action of the teleporter. So, is what it is. I did end up winning 1-0. I had my ogres just sitting in the end zone, and I got cocky because I got the ball and I wanted to bring the ogres out to try to protect it. That didn't work. He was actually able to get around my guys because I brought him out, and he just had to dodge away to score, and he wasn't able to do it. So I got the ball back, beat him up some, made my way in. So yeah, it's definitely fun. We varied. That first one we just played we all played the same dungeon, the one from the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then round two, did we play the other one, or I think at that point we mixed it up.
Well, we set up one table with one dungeon, and then we set the other with the other dungeon,
Yeah,
just like the book, because there's two in the book. And then after round two, I believe you and Drew played. Me and Ben made up a dungeon for you, and then
that
set it
was
up and then
round
let you open.
3.
I'm sorry, round three.
Round 2 for me, Ben and I played, and we'd gotten the table that we'd each played at before, of the dungeon.
Did y'all just mix it up? And
Yeah, so we actually started mixing it up and trying to make it more symmetrical, and that's where I came across the idea of using the door pieces, which I am annoyed that they exist. Use them to kind of extend hallways and block off hallways.
yeah, you were doubling up those and
Hmm.
acting like they were 2 by 2 square. Or I'm sorry,
Yeah,
2 by 1 square.
I actually really liked it because it allowed me to take essentially, like, we wanted another L piece, but we didn't have it. So we took a T piece and cut off one of the edges and it made it into an L piece. And then we were just a little bit too short on a couple of the hallways. So we just used the doors as filler and we could tell how many squares it's supposed to be. So it really allowed us to vary it up even more than they had anticipated with the game, and I really liked that. I thought it added a lot of fun to it. I did end up
I
winning too, so that helps.
What's that?
I did end up winning as well, so that did help.
I'm sure winning does help somewhat. So, folks, you do not get a lot of star player points in this game.
No, in the first game, we didn't even think we got MVPs because we were playing it and like, man, this really is not a whole lot of anything.
Wouldn't it both your people who got hurt, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
got the MVPs,
Sure
which was
did,
kind of funny.
because that's how
Um,
we roll.
yeah, I guess if I had an issue with it, is like it, it it's I know this is not like a true statement, but it feels like you're just rolling dice and hoping to get lucky. But I know there's got to be some strategy to it. But it feels like you don't want to mark somebody because you don't want to hit them back. You don't want them to hit you back, and at times you have to. So I don't know. The turns just go fairly quick. I mean, maybe that's what it's designed to do, is be a fairly quick game. And with 1-0, it feels a little bit like
Well,
a little
again,
anti.
like with Ben's and I's game, while you're playing your first game, I was playing my second game.
Yeah, y'all played a long game, so your experience with this is totally different than mine.
I and this is the second time it's happened to me because in one of our demo games it happened to me as well. I went through 5 boxes and blew myself up each time to where we knew where the ball was because it was the last one remaining. And that was just very annoying. I mean, it's part of the game, it's part of the fun. This game is a lot of fun because we don't care as much. And it may change, like if this was an ongoing thing where we were trying to build up these teams and come back year after year and blah, 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 or had more people. But the way it is, the way it's set up, there's a lot of times that we're pulling off BS just going, it's Dungeon Bowl. Why not?
Well, and that's where I think, out of the 6 teams that we're using, I have the beer boars, but they don't have any hands. Therefore, you don't have like that little tiny guy that could maybe like squirt around and dodge through like a bunch of tackle zones and try to make a play for the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Ben doesn't have that, and I don't have that. So I guess we're kind of the quote bash teams in this, especially what we have. But it sure doesn't feel like that from my point of view because I don't have any skills. Like it really feels like I have to. Through 2 games, I have 1 casualty, and that's because Drew rolled a skull and I hurt him.
Yeah.
Not because I did anything. It I don't I feel like I've done absolutely nothing, and my record shows that.
It kind of
I'm
does. Yeah.
trying, and I'm trying not to just quickly take random skills because that was my initial thought, is like I got to do something, but I know how important like just to get a block or a wrestle would be for my team, so I'm trying to play the long game and see
Mm-hmm.
where it goes. We did decide after think it was after just one week of playing that we went ahead and doubled the seasons. So we're gonna round robin it, play everybody twice to try to get the full effect of like we just didn't want after 5 games like, oh, my team has 2 skills total.
Yeah.
Oh, mine has 1. Man, Steve's lucky. He has 3 skills. So
And I mean, it just kind of is what it is too, because you're not wrong. Built-in skills, very handy. It's kind
oh,
of
super.
made that way, though. I mean, it's just Blood Bowl itself. Are these teams really? Are they really balanced? And we don't like to say balanced because the game's not meant to be balanced. But when you have these discrepancies, like your best player is the werewolf. Well, okay, fine. I mean, werewolves are great. You got super speed, but no skills, and you've got frenzy. So if you hit somebody, it's harder to,
Yeah.
really do anything. But if you knock someone down, you got the claws. So does that help? You've got 3-4 strength. Um, Other people have, like Drew now has the 3-4 strength of the frickin' Amazons even. So it's
I mean, yeah, Drew's team has 3 source blockers,
yeah.
and then he has 2 of those Jaguar Warrior. I mean, I think he can get up to 4 of those too. That's what's weird is like he can get more of those if I remember
And
correctly.
Gary's got, black orcs, 4 of them, and a bloodseeker. So 5 people with 4 strength. And
No,
then
I'm sorry. Drew can get 6 of those Jaguar Warrior blockers.
Jesus.
Now they're expensive,
Yeah,
but they already
but
come with dodge,
they're
and they're
amazing.
1 skill away from being a 4 strength blodger. Yes, they're amazing. I just find it funny that they can only get 2 on a regular team, but in Dungeon Bowl you can have 6 of those, and
So speaking of Drew and the doors as before, um, I'm not blaming. I've won 2 games. I lost to Drew. Drew's a very good coach. I tried to pull off some quick scoring BS because I knew his team on paper seemed to be better than mine. And I
oh yeah,
had a chance to where if I did the right thing, I could get to the right portal, break away, go and score a touchdown without him being able to get me without going for it, or so I thought. And I did random. One of my guys got Portal Navigator, which allows me to
it,
re-roll where he goes. So
nice.
I was trying to use that to my advantage. This is the game where I really realized that I was using the transporters wrong because I was using the transporters before to hurt people and take them off the pitch by they had to teleport twice. So there's your injury roll or your casualty roll, excuse me, and they're gone for the game. Well, that's not the
Mhm.
case. You make an injury roll, so they may not even get knocked out, so they stay on the pitch. That's a huge difference. So one
Mm.
of my strategies from the previous 2 games wasn't working. So once I saw that and some other things, I was like, okay, all I got to do is get this guy onto the right portal and then break away down the sideline, hallway, whatever. And next turn I can score unless he does some really good BS from behind, which I could probably position someone to make him break away, blah, blah, blah. One thing that sucks is you really need to pay attention to the board because there was a space in between a hallway and another hallway, and in my mind, just how I was looking at things, I didn't think they connected. They obviously
Oh.
connected. Like there was no question they connected. So he had a guy within, blitzing distance of my guy that I thought I was going to be able to protect. And I was just like, oh dang it! If I'd known that, I wouldn't have done this. And then of course he picks up the ball and he's got his Saurus and he's got, the 4 strength gals picking up the ball and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I've lost.
Yeah.
So I would say I doubt Jack has done this yet, and I wouldn't even know how to do it. But like, and maybe take a neoprene pitch and turn it upside down so that they don't move or find a way to make the pieces stay together.
Oh, so they don't slip.
Yeah, because that is an issue with the sliding back and forth. Because we don't have to worry about that with regular Blood Bowl. They're on a pitch, the whole pitch moves, no big deal. And then with the, we use primarily neoprene anymore. Those don't even slip on the table anymore. So that doesn't even become an issue. And the figures don't easily slip on that either. So I have noticed, at least in that game, and again, I'm not saying that's why I lost at all, but it did play into one of my strategies, and it was something I just missed because I wasn't paying attention close enough.
Hmm.
I don't really know how to fix that, but that's a
You
thing.
just got to be. That is one thing. You got to be very careful with this stuff
Mm-hmm.
when you set up your dungeon. So tiles don't get shifted. I think rerolls are giant because you don't reset it. There's no half.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I could have done it on my team, but I think maybe I should have even bought a fourth or fifth reroll to begin with. But I just don't know how that would have been possible with my Stormbolt team.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, oh, and I did the trick of we know that the chest is a bomb, so why would anyone open it? Well, I did because I pushed someone, like one of the big guys next to it, and then I used one of my little guys to open it up and try to hurt him. Didn't work, but I tried it.
no, I think that's it.
I mean, it's fun.
I did something and I knew I was going to go open a bomb chest if this doesn't fail, I'm going to go open this bomb chest to just try to hurt some of Drew's guys
Mm-hmm.
in our game. But I, of course, failed my my other things. So, but with all this said, Drew has played 3 games. Steve has played 3 games. I played a couple. Ben's played a couple. Matt and Gary's only played one. The progress on the league of playing more games has been stymied by people's schedules, and then Gary got sick, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody wanted to meet with him and get sick as well. Nobody is undefeated. So, like, even though I'm saying like I hate the Stormbolts because they don't have anybody with some type of block. Um, or dodge. Nobody's undefeated, so that just tells you that at least
I
you know.
mean, isn't Drew undefeated?
No, no, no. He got beat his first game
Oh,
against.
first game, yeah, against Ben.
Yeah,
Okay,
against
cool. Okay,
Ben.
fair enough.
There is a lot of clogging though. Like once you know where the ball
Yeah,
is, you can, and it's not really a cage up, but you're just kind of plotting down the corridor, which you expect from Dungeon Bowl. Um, there's a
and
lot of camping around the end zones, so
mm-hmm.
you can have some guys tackle.
So
And I
that's
don't
one.
know.
Sorry, just interject. That is one thing. First time we played, used the map from the the rules, and there's only one corridor into the end zone. You can clog that up. It's annoying. So when Ben and I played and we mixed things up, we actually were able. That's why we were using the doors to kind of really, change it. And you can see a picture of this on our Facebook from a while back if you look. But we had 3 ways into each end zone. So there
Hmm.
was not a way to really clog it up. Now, once you knew who had the ball and where they're going to go, yeah, you could try to do that. But I did end up winning instead of going straight through the middle. I ended up going to the side and taking one of the side hallways, which allowed me to get on through. So that's the one thing so far that I'm really, really, really adamant I do not like is having only one way into an end zone.
I would tend to agree. I think some of the most fun I had that day was actually me and Ben creating a dungeon for you and Drew to play
Mm-hmm.
in. It's so much that I even wanted to set up the treasure chests and the teleporters. Now we didn't do that part. We set up the dungeon
I wouldn't mind.
itself.
Like, I don't,
But
the game
that
tells us to do that way. Go back and forth creating the dungeon, go back and forth putting in the teleporters and the stuff. But yeah, if someone else wants to do it, let them, because they're going to be more fair than you guys are.
most likely.
Maybe.
Colleges that we're missing is the College of Life, which is a bunch of like wood elves, halflings, like Nurgles,
Mm-hmm.
Snotlings, I believe.
Yep.
And what's the other college that we're missing? Do you know right offhand?
College of Clowns.
College of Clowns.
Mm-hmm.
It is a team of clowns,
Mm-hmm. All clowns. So it's
all
goblins
clowns.
and halflings.
We
I
gotta
have.
have snotlings somewhere in
Oh,
there
and snotlings. That's right.
to do
And
that.
I want to say. I want to say Grodnards. That's not it. What are they now?
Uh,
Noblars.
Nobblers.
Noblar.
I, b- I believe we're also missing the College of Light, if I
That would be it.
remember correctly. This
Yes.
is the team that's made up of Elf Union, some Imperial Retainers, Human Catchers.
Oh yeah. So if
So,
we have
or,
not talked about turplay.net, please go check them out. We are using them for this, and we can actually click on teams, go to Dungeon Bowl, and it tells us all of the different teams.
yeah, it's kind of neat.
Oh, and
I
they
was,
even have it set up. The rules for the World Cup finally got released. November late, but they have it in the system on Turplay that you can set up rosters and squads and start looking at stuff.
oh, that's really good.
So this program has been really awesome. Anyways, that's just a
Um,
side chat.
yeah, I mean, it costs a little money, but at this point, a few dollars here or there doesn't seem to be bugging anybody.
No,
Um, any other thoughts that you have about this? Now, again, it's not going to replace Blood Bowl anytime soon.
no.
Um, you know, I was thinking today I saw some people talking about Blitz Bowl and how, you know, and they were very happy and they were excited about Blitz Bowl, and I guess they have leagues with Blitz Bowl, and my brain just is like, how do you do that? Now,
Yeah, I'm gonna have
that's
to
not
get the new one. Once I do buy the new set, we'll do a review, but we haven't got it yet.
okay. There's nothing wrong with Blitz Bowl. I just
No,
my brain can't accept having like a league of it. My brain is having a hard time still having a league with this Dungeon Bowl. Um,
I have less of a problem. I don't really have a problem with leagues in either one. This one tends to lend itself better to a league, I think, than Blitz Bowl does. Blitz Bowl, I think you really have to add a lot of your own stuff to it. This one, not really. You can just kind of play and go. Um, I,
now,
I. That being said, like again, it's not Blood Bowl, so I don't prefer it. I do really like it though.
yeah. Again, my only complaint might be that for whatever reason, every team has at least two players that you can purchase from the beginning that has block, except for the College of Beasts. Um, I told you my idea was maybe they're putting everybody with Frenzy
Hmm.
on the College of Beast teams because that's what there's a lot of that on there.
If
And
that's the
I
case,
told you, I said
oh,
maybe if they would have just put Troll Slayers, like dwarf Troll Slayers on there,
Wolf
that might have
Runners.
been well. Oil Runners are on there, but they
Oh,
don't have
that
block.
they don't come with block. That's right.
Right. Um,
So I guess that's one thing too. Is like these teams don't. We haven't played them a ton. So if you have played a ton, or if you're just really into the meta of the game and want to put your 2 cents in, we'll happily listen. They don't really seem as balanced as they could be.
no, and
Obviously, they were limited by what they could do. They had to try to shoehorn everything in. But overall, they're fine, but they don't even have that cohesiveness that Blood Bowl has.
agreed. And I have some more commentary about that, but it really kind of goes with the review of the Dungeon Bowl set
Okay.
itself. So, really, folks, try it out. Definitely try it in league play if you want to really experience it. Honestly, I think we would benefit if and we're not probably going to do this, but if we took some dungeon tiles and created a dungeon and took a picture and I said,
Yeah.
this is Scott's home stadium for the Stormbolts. This is Steve's. And then we did home and away games. So you were prepared for different stadiums
Yeah.
and stuff. I think that would be the next level of stuff. And I think that would be really awesome. And then even in the playoffs, you could, randomly select one where the final's going to be
Mm-hmm.
versus
No,
the
I don't.
playoff games.
I don't. Honestly, I think, and this is something we can get into the next segment as well. One of the limitations is the tile sets. Like, it just needs more and more variants.
That's what's funny is we were talking about that
Oh,
Saturday. We
we
were like,
sure were.
this just needs more tiles, and we are like, maybe buy one of their other board games where they have tiles and just add them to this. And then days later, we got the email that
Oh,
something called Deathmatch.
one more thing in relation to this that I kind of, since this is sort of like a Dungeon Bowl review.
Well,
Dungeon
it is.
Bowl tournament. Any interest?
Man,
Like, let me just put it out there. Obviously, you don't know how long these games are going to last. Let's say they're going to do them as a typical 2 hour limit. So just like a regular tournament.
and then after
So,
2 hours, it could be a tie.
uh huh.
Okay.
3, maybe 4 rounds. If it's 4, it's within an area that you don't mind playing for, like it's close.
Okay.
Does it appeal to you?
Um, I doubt I would drive 3 hours away
No, no, no. I'm
for something like this,
literally
unless there
like
was
it's in
some.
your backyard, and you could just show up the day of, not have to get a car, drive, not have to get a hotel or anything. It's just you show up and play.
I think you would 100%. I mean, yeah, I'd probably give it at least one tournament to
Okay,
see if I'd like it. Um, I think you would only have about four different of the same teams there, though,
that
because I
was my
think
next question. Is yeah,
I
it.
don't think anybody takes the College of Beasts.
Well,
I don't
depending.
think anybody takes the College of Life unless they're just.
What if you can add skills though, like a regular
Well,
tournament?
you could, but just I don't,
Do they?
maybe.
Yeah, I know. I don't know the answer to
If they
that.
had a limit of like 3 blocks, that might not. We do that often in Blood
Yeah,
Bowl, but I don't know. Maybe
and
I just think like
there's not even a good way to get your head around these teams. Like Blood Bowl's easy. You got 4 or 5 positions, no big deal. Up until recently, when OWA or other ones, we got a lot of positions, but or a lot of options for big guys. But these teams are just crazy. You've got so many different options. Like I could not remember for the life of me what any of these teams are.
well, and then the College of Life and the College of Light, they only at most you can get two players with block, and that's not much when some teams have a heavy. But again, maybe we just haven't played it enough to really be like. I mean, who knows? By the end of the season, I get a few blocks, I get a few other skills on here,
Hmm.
and I make a run into the playoffs and win it all, and then I'll be going like, I guess I was wrong. But man, right up front, there's some teams that feel way better than others.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
disagree with that.
so, oh well. We will continue to talk about some Dungeon Bowl as we play more weeks. Just to, that was part of the reason to do this. Is that Drew does his podcast. It's like this would be a great excuse to a good topic to talk about, and an excuse to. This is an excuse to play it because
Hmm.
we could talk about it on the podcast, and I don't know too many people that do Dungeon Bowl leagues. I'm sure they're out there. We just don't hear it, or if I've heard it, I didn't pay attention because it's Dungeon Bowl. So we're gonna give this a shot. We'll probably talk about this some more. Maybe some things that we think that would maybe fix it or help it, and maybe even look back at first edition Dungeon Bowl and like compare and contrast teams. Like,
That'd be
why did
interesting.
the Stormbolts work for the first edition of Dungeon Bowl but don't work now? Type deal.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about it,
Yep.
my friend.
I'm good too. So let's just go ahead and call it there, and we'll be back with the new stuff.
Yes.
Okay, and as we said, we are back with the new stuff, which I guess let's go ahead and start with the almanac first, and then get to the good stuff after that.
Right. So if you've bought the spikes for Norse and Amazons, you have 90% of this book. um, I heard it's going to retail. I think it's retails for 50.
Yeah,
Could be wrong on that.
50,
45,
55,
50,
something like
something like
probably,
that.
probably.
So they did add some stuff in here. Now I do like their hardbacks. Um, I wish they would, if they had errors, they fix them before they put them in these hardbacks. I don't know if they do because I don't reread the spikes that I've already reread.
Right, of course.
Again, I don't like having all our rules in about 7 hardcovers, but
No.
This is just how GW operates with, you know, Warhammer 40K and other things. So we're just going to move on and not complain about that. But what they did do, and I think this is brilliant, and I'm going to give you guys like big props, GW, and I think you should do this every time with an almanac. They gave us 16 pages of new content, all new star players, and I will argue that these were old star players back when they decided to not give us so many star players. I think they already had this information built and they just didn't put them in some of those spikes. That's my theory. I
Yeah,
could be wrong on this.
I don't think they might. I have not gone through every individual one and compared. I figured someone will do that. They don't seem too different than they used to be.
No, not that, Steve. I'm saying like when the halfling
Yeah,
spike came out, we didn't have Puggy Bacon Breath.
right.
And that's when they started pulling back on not giving everybody like remember for a while it was like everybody's
Oh,
gonna get eight
I
star
see what you're
players or
saying. Yeah.
10-star players. And it makes me wonder, did they pull this information back and then just hit the save button in their file? Or did they come is this brand new content? Either way, I'm very happy. You brought back some old legends that we had. We get Puggy Bacon Breath. He's back. Um,
We got Cindy
and
Pie Whistle.
Yeah, I was going to go over stats, but I don't think I'm
Uh,
going to.
Let's just go
Cindy
through.
Pie Whistle is the sister of Mindy Pie Whistle, and they hate each other for various reasons. And she comes with she's a halfling bomber, basically. So
Hmm.
you people who love bombs, you're going to love her because I got to read this one out loud. Her special rule is all you can eat. Once per game, Cindy may perform 2 mom special actions rather than 1, though she must commit to doing so before making the first action. If she does immediately after performing the second throw bomb special action, roll a d6. On a 1 through 3, Cindy is immediately sent off. So potentially that's really amazing because she's only 50k.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It's ridiculous. As a guy who got bombs thrown at him with my with my ogre team from those snotlings, I would truly, truly hate this. And with bribes and stuff, you could keep her around if you really needed to. But
Yeah.
anyways, interesting. Then we have Dribble and Drool, the 2 Skinks twins. One of them specializes in Dirty Player and Sneaky Git, which is even more powerful in this edition of Blood Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one has Stab,
Inside stuff.
and they're only 190k.
Oh yeah.
So I
For
mean, I think
both.
that's
Yeah. They're
at
kind of
first I
nasty.
thought this was a super great value for what you get. And I still think it is. I just don't know how you find the money of 190k to put them on a Lizardman team. But I could see them on Amazon's.
Not taking a cross. Oh, Amazon's. Jeez. Yeah, and
That's
special rule: a sneaky pair. Dribble and Drool must be hired as a pair and count as 2-star players. Additionally, whenever Dribble or Drool perform either a stab or a foul action against an opposition player marked by both, they may apply a +1 modifier to the injury roll. No, thank you. Please.
yeah. So these guys on Amazon's, I think, are going to be bomb superstars because the Amazons are just cheap enough that you
Yeah.
can get a bunch of those lion women and these guys fouling and killing people. Anyways, it's
And
cool to
what?
see them back because we had them briefly.
Yeah.
Bile Rot Vomit Flesh is back, which I love. You know, like I don't know if I'd ever use him, but I love just having some star player options. He's the big fat guy who would throw up running down his chin. He can also do throw up action in addition to a block action.
He looks horrible. Not like in I don't like it, as in he just looks disgusting.
Yeah, like he needs to die
Yeah.
because he looks so disgusting. He did you ever finish watching Preacher, the
No,
TV shows?
I
He's
should have.
okay. He's like the big fat guy who would just eat and then throw up and then eat again.
Yeah, I
Like
saw
so,
that guy. That yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Uh, the return of Ripper Bulgrot, which is the smart troll, which I love how they've in 2016 edition, they've made him smart.
Hmm.
I love that. That was some really great fluff by them, and they continue to have that. He returns. He's still the smart troll. I love it.
And he has little glasses. Kind of looks like Pete Nifton.
I I thought the same thing, Steve. That's what's funny. With those little glasses on, I was like, he kind of like he's like Pete looking down at you. Now I wonder if they're going to make models for these.
I mean,
Like,
if they were, you'd think they'd be out already. But I'm sure they'll probably make some.
okay, we get Nobla Blackwort finally.
Well, you
He
know what
comes.
they say. Can't have too many goblins with chainsaws, I guess.
No, I know. He's 120k. He has a block dodge, chainsaw secret weapon. Plays for a bunch
Did
of people.
you see a special rule?
His special rule is kick them while they're down. Once per game, Nobla may use the chainsaw attack special action against a prone or stunned opposition player. This does not count as a foul action, so Nobla can't be sent off when using this ability. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Can we just get
Scrappa
rid of...
Sorehead is back in the game with his pogo,
Yep.
and his special rule is also pretty ridiculous. If you're dumb enough to throw over his head. His special rule is yoink. Once per game, when Scrappa attempts to interfere with a pass action, he may roll a d6. On a 2+, Scrappa does not need to roll to interfere with the pass action. Instead, he automatically makes an interception and gains control of the ball.
Why? Why?
Why
Like,
give him that such a powerful
yes.
thing? I
Like,
guess you know that if he's covering somebody, you are not going to pass.
I'm getting tired of ranting about hating the special rules, but I really hate special rules.
Well, I don't try not to be like a Debbie Downer, but like if you go back and look at like Ripper Balgrot, his special rule is reroll of a sort. Same with
One
Puggy
die,
Bacon
yeah.
Breath.
Um,
So we're
and
defaulting to a lot of these rerolls.
yeah, well, and then you got Big Boy, Bile Rot, who can use projectile vomit in after he's done an attack. In addition to, it's like, how's that fair? Like, he can projectile vomit for free, okay, one time, whereas this other dude can just take the ball out of the air by not rolling a one.
Yeah.
I don't. A chainsaw on a down guy without the possibility of getting taken out.
Yeah.
And if
And
that
don't
doesn't
forget dribble and
if it
drool.
doesn't count as a foul, could he then foul? I guess he can't do two actions, but still. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then with
Um,
the grasp double drill.
we got Withergrass Double Drool. He's returned. I kind of like this guy. He's 6 movement, 3 strength, 4. I don't like this part, and I don't understand this part. So this is why I want to talk about it. MA6, strength 3, Edge 4 plus,
Mm-hmm.
passing 4 plus, armor 9 plus. He has loner, of course, prehensile tail, tackle, tentacles, 2 heads, and wrestle. Does he have the Edge +4 because 2 heads gives him a +1 automatically for dodging?
Yeah.
Okay. So they
So.
wanted to give him 2 heads for flavor, but they really didn't want him to be good at dodging.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
his special rule is worthless. Not worthless, but
It's
watch
not
out. The
worthless.
first time each half that Withergrasp is the target of an opposition player's block action, he counts as having the dodge skill.
I mean, I don't hate it, but when you compare that to other people's
Yeah,
special rules, you're like,
that's what
this
I mean.
sucks.
It's like, okay, you hit him with a guy with tackle. Your ability's worthless.
I mean, this would be better if he had, once per turn or once per game, he could act like he had the block skill. And, that way
Mm-hmm.
you have that option with the wrestle.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like seeing him come back. I think, like he doesn't look like the second edition model. They kind of beast manned him up some, but at the same time, I like the look of it. And
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
looks
glad to
nice.
get some classic star players in. I love that they talked about the origins of this. And then for some reason in the back of us, we have one more page of, I really feel like these are fillers. There's 2 pages in the whole thing of the new season colors where they just show the model and basically talk about
Mm-hmm.
how their costumes look cool.
Oh,
But
they
that's
are.
their way of saying like, look at our models, look how neat they are.
Yeah. And ultimately, it only has, 2 spikes worth of material and then some stars. Is that worth $50? Eh. I mean, I think the
It's
stars are
packaged nice.
cool,
It looks
but
nice.
who? I'm sure some people go to the book to look at stuff, but you're just gonna put it on your team sheet or you're gonna look online.
I mean, that's the problem is so many people just go online anyways to
Yeah.
get it for free. You'll have people going, "Could you have the stats for this?"
Oh, I've seen people like ask that, and I don't condone pirating at all, but it's also stupid to me that they haven't put out a comprehensive rule book ever. And
Right.
they're not going to. They're just not going to, because that's not what they do. But just charge us $50, slap it all together, make all the corrections on the FAQ, so I don't have to have a copy of the rule book, a copy of the spike for the team I'm playing, and the copy of spike for the opponent I'm playing. Have all the FAQs, all the erratas. Make sure that on the FAQs with the errata after that, I go through and mark out all the stuff that's been changed. Go in the rule book, and if anything has been changed, put a sticker next to it saying that it's been changed. Go look at the FAQ. And then, you know, have tokens to signify that I used my special once per game ability and my opponents used his special once a game ability, and I'm an old man yelling at clouds.
Well, get out of here, you clouds.
I just
Well, the return of the star players made it really awesome. I was
yes.
very, very, very happy to see that because I like some of those star players and get a chance to use them again. I was just thinking the other day, like halflings missed having like Puggy, who's a 3 strength halfling.
Yeah,
You know.
Puggy's big. Puggy's a great addition. I like all the stars except Mindy or Cindy.
Yeah, I'm.
And I'm not a fan of double and drool or dribble and drool.
Yeah, you don't like skinks, do you?
No, I think their name's horrible. And then I just hate the
What was the star player that we used to have? He was named after a poison,
Hemlock.
hemlock.
Yeah.
I would much rather have hemlock back instead of
Mm-hmm.
dribble and drool. So,
Yeah.
get you.
And it's only one person to take down.
Yeah. All right. You ready to talk about the big boy here?
Sure, absolutely. Uh,
All right.
the cooler thing that we got was the box of Dungeon Bowl Death Zone, right?
No, it's called Death Match.
Death
Yes, I want to
Match.
say Death Zone so bad.
Because that's always the first expansion to Blood Bowl every time they put it out.
Yes.
But yeah, Death Match. Which,
So
go
let
ahead.
me go.
Yeah.
Okay. uh, Death Match is a honestly, I think the idea behind this is super awesome. And this is from a fluff super awesome. And then I'll get to like what I don't like about it. But from a fluff standpoint, I really, really like the idea of this expansion. It clearly says that you're not getting a rule book, you need Dungeon Bowl, but what you do get is the finals of the current Dungeon Bowl, which happens to be between the Death Widows, the College of Death, and the Emerald Crusaders, which is the College of Life.
Can I just
Um,
say, I do love that team name,
Emerald Crusaders.
Green Lantern.
Well,
He's
I
the
mean,
Emerald Crusader.
I got you. I mean, I like the old, before it was called the Jade Wizards or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
that was the Green Destroyers, and I love that. But the Green Destroyers, in the current Blood Bowl, just became an orc team with goblins. So,
Yeah.
nothing big there. So what's interesting here that has me thinking, but actually I'll go over the other things first. We get looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Door tiles?
14, maybe 14 new dungeon pieces.
Oh.
Now I'm calling them both sides. So that's
Oh, then no. We get 4 2x2 squares. We got
okay. You're gonna explain it better than me. Go
what,
for it. I
one
like this.
T piece, 2 L
One T
pieces.
piece. one L piece. You're right. 2 corridors and 3 4x4
Yeah,
squares.
I just don't want to oversell it to people. Like, it's awesome we got it, but
You're absolutely right because it first glance it looks like you have 14 tile pieces when you really don't. You have like
mhm,
7, and they're double sided.
yeah,
Um, it comes with a Spike magazine over the death
I
match.
think that's really cool.
It's a 2494 yearbook is what it's called, and it goes into the college. Well, I'll go page by page over that, and then we have 2 Blood Bowl teams, which is obviously the College of Death. It's a half sprue of undead and a half sprue of necro. And then you have the Emerald Crusaders, which is a half sprue of halflings and a half sprue of wood elves. And they have the Savage Wandering Werewolf, which, let's face it, folks, this was just a joke because probably these are the 2 easiest teams to assemble just by half sprues.
Yep.
They threw him in the box and they were like, well, what are we going to say about the werewolf? He's on the College of Beasts. And
Eh,
somebody goes,
just make up a rule.
just make up a rule. We'll have a tile that's called the Werewolf Slayer, and they can put that wandering werewolf in that that tile, and he can attack people. And they're like, sounds great. Let's do it.
It works.
Um,
I'm not going to say it doesn't work. It works.
well, I mean, soon we're going to try these out in our Dungeon Bowl League, so we'll find out if it works or doesn't work. Um, all the tiles have rules, which I'm not sure if I like or dislike yet. Meaning, I like that they look different.
Yeah.
I like that we have more tiles.
Oh,
I
and
don't know.
when he
I don't
says
know.
all the tiles, he means that, not just the rooms, the L pieces and the T piece.
Yes, the
Everything has
hallways.
rules.
Yes, and I don't know if I want to walk into a hall and have to roll to
No.
see if the ghosts scare me too much to go into that room every time.
Like,
And more than anything, I'm being an old man saying I'm going to forget some of these rules, and some of them will come back to haunt me, and some of them will help me, and I'll forget as well, and then I'll feel bad that I forgot to like put the rule in
I
effect.
mean, it's
So
not really an old man thing. I mean, when you've got 12 pieces on the pitch, you've got 12 different rules you have to remember. And it gets annoying. Like, I would almost be in favor of just getting rid of all the special rules and just play it straight.
well, I was thinking about it today when I was reading all this stuff of like maybe in the future when we set up dungeons and let's say we utilize, 13 tile pieces, didn't we just randomize like a couple of them to use those special rules? So it's just like 3 rooms out of the 13 have special rules and none of the other ones do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I
No good
I want
answer.
to play them by the rules so we can really
Yeah.
analyze it and talk about it and all that. But at the same time, I'm kind of like you. That's how the old Dungeon Bowl was. There wasn't necessarily special rooms. They just had different graphics on it, and we loved it.
And there were different things you could do. You could push someone off the pitch. You can push somebody into the wall. And that's fine. Remember the
Well, you
old
can't
video
do.
game?
Oh yeah,
I mean, a lot of people will not even know that that existed. But yes, in the time of Blood Bowl 1's video game, they put out Dungeon Bowl.
I
And
loved it too.
it was good,
I think
but
I played the
nobody
same
played
one
it.
guy like 4 times in a row because we were
Yeah.
the only 2 on that.
Like, literally nobody played it. And it just died. But it was, they put a lot of work into it. I would love to see them just surprise us and go, by the way, here's Blood Bowl 3 and a new updated Dungeon Bowl game.
Well, I mean, I assume it that wouldn't take a whole lot, but
It would.
what do I know?
Yeah.
Real quick, without going on to like what every tile does. For example, there is a T piece that is a spike pit, so they're forcing you to actually use the jumping rules on this tile.
I
Where
thought
you
that
have
was
to.
interesting. Yeah.
I actually thought that was kind of good because there's other places you can jump in the first tile sets, but most of the time you're just going to walk across the bridge because it's safer.
Yeah, but if you
Um,
have a guy with 1 agility, that kind of screws him.
for sure, you're just going to turn around and go the other way.
Because,
There's
people with 1 agility are super fast.
Well, that's true. There's a necromantic laboratory where you can, for your action, roll a dice, and you could have something bad happen to you, or something amazing like a mutation that you get to pick. There's a what is it called? The root walk, where you can get tangled into the roots as you try to move, and then you can't go any further. It just eats your turn. So those are just some of the examples of that. And of course, we talked about the werewolf's lair. I believe if you stop in the werewolf's lair, you roll, and I think it's almost on anything but a one. He runs out of his doghouse, not joking,
Mm-hmm.
and makes a block to get you out of there. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
It is what it is. I'm not a huge fan of them. I don't like the rules overall, but they're cool that it's there. So if you did want to use them, but again, like there's ones in the original one I don't like. I don't like the stupid baby dragon room at all.
Nobody likes that.
It's horrible.
Yeah, here, baby dragon.
But when it could when it actually takes away from the enjoyment of the game is where I think it's going too far, and that takes away from my enjoyment of the game.
How many times did baby dragon hit you?
In our test game, like 5.
Well,
I mean, I had
it
like
didn't
2
work at
people in
all.
there, and they were just not moving ever.
I don't remember it working at all when I played Drew. I could be wrong on that, but
No, I think when I played Drew, it didn't work either. But, still, not a fan.
so I'm gonna go over the spike here.
So
I
this
got it
is
in
one
front of
thing
me.
too, like I really like, and don't want to forget this later, but I'll just go ahead and say it now. Screw it. This is everything we wanted from a Blood Bowl expansion, to an extent. Give us
Yes.
2 new teams, 1 spike with the 2 teams in it, and a new pitch, and there you go. You know how
Yeah,
excited we'd be with that?
you don't have to put rules in it.
No. I would love if this is a test to see if this is actually how they do Blood Bowl expansions.
Well, I think at one time me and you talked, and I was like, "What if they did Amazons and Norse together, and they had a flip pitch like
Yeah.
they did, for
We've
the
talked
Skaven
multiple
Dwarf?"
times about that. Like, that's the way that they should do it. Because they can do a new. You don't even have to have the complete rules. It's just a spike for those 2 teams, and that's it.
Well, this if this sells well, look, I'm shocked that we even got this.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think Dungeon Bowl sold that well. Now I know it's easy to grab sprues, throw them in a box, and they probably already had a lot of these tiles built for some of their other kind of like board games that they have. So this was probably really easy. So their hardest work was probably making up the spike.
Mm-hmm. And the different
Um,
graphics. I guess that's one thing too, is I have not looked completely, but I believe these are the same exact pieces that we got in the last game too. There's no variance in size or shape of these
oh
pieces.
no! I don't think we got like a zigzag piece or
No,
something
definitely
like
not.
that.
I mean,
No.
it's all the same, but I mean to the same cutout too. Like all they had to do was put a new graphic down, use the same, CNC machine or whatever, and cut it out
Right.
the same, which is fine. You do what you got to do, but it would be nice to have other variations than just straight T and square.
So let's go over Spike.
Okay.
Just like any other spike, it starts off and you see some miniatures here in the opening cover of the team, and then they have players' names of these teams. There's a forward by the deans of both colleges. This is written from the perspective of like both our colleges made it to the finals, and this team won, and we're going to tell you all about how we got there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a play-by-play that kind of talks with some announcers that go through like the play-by-play of the highlights of the game. On page 4, we have the Emerald Crusaders and the Black Widows, like their roster, their final squad. And Steve, when I looked through this before reading it, it says the Emerald Crusaders 875, and it says the Black Widows 875. Do you have any idea why it says 875 in those titles?
No.
I don't either.
Hmm.
And it makes and I didn't look, and I do not have a Spike close, but it makes me wonder: did I just overlook, like in other Spikes, when we got like their legendary teams, that they put like a team rating next to it, or is it something else, or is this something that should have been erased in the editing and
You've
they
got
never?
you got two spikes next to you in the almanac.
Oh, you're right. Let me grab that and go see about their teams of legends. How stupid am I?
Because it might be that there's always been there and we just didn't, you know, when you call
So the
attention to
Norsha
it.
Rampagers,
Norska, yeah.
it says the year of their squad, but there's no number. And then let's go look at the Kara Temple Harpies Hall of Fame squad. Has a year. It does not have a number. I
Do
have no
do
idea what
these
these
have a
numbers
year
mean.
or is this set
What's
like
that?
is the no because they said what year the
Yeah,
finals
it's
was.
2594 final squad, the Black Widows. But in the title of Black Widows, it says Black Widows 875, which is just
Um,
so odd to me.
I didn't catch that, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't really
So we know we have
understand
people
it.
from GW who listen. Would you like to advise us that maybe we're missing out on something? Because we obviously could have missed something. It happens all the time. Trust us, we hear about it. But
I mean, is it possible this is the team value before? Because they say underneath there it says inducements and it says 3 rerolls and an Amethyst Wizard. Total value is 1.225 gold pieces. Is it possible that this squad is really 875 gold pieces to start with, and
is the
with the
wizard
inducements it makes
200?
them,
Maybe. I don't know.
is that 350 gold pieces worth of, like, I don't
We
know.
could add it up. I don't care. Who knows?
That's like 400. So yeah, I don't understand. I don't know where those numbers come from, so that threw me off big time. It does have special rules if you wanted to actually play with those squads. If you want to take the Emerald Crusaders and the Black Widows and recreate the match, it even gives you a really cool dungeon layout, which I really love.
Mm-hmm.
It tells you exactly where to put the treasure chests and the portals, and it even has special rules if you want to play with the dungeon just like they told you the story with the announcers. So I thought that was really cool.
And also, I guess the one of the main rules is the College of Life can't use rerolls on the College of Death tile, and the College of Death can't use rerolls on the College of Life tile.
That is correct. Good point out there. It goes over, the spike is also utilized to talk about these College of Life tiles, which is what half of them are. So one side of all these are College of Life, and the other side is the College of Death. And I'm just going to go over the names of
And that's
these
pretty cool, I think.
tiles.
I think it's neat
Uh,
that they do that.
we have the Tuck Shop, which is like a food place. You can get a kitchen, like a food cart. You have the Root Walk. You have the Tranquil Meadow. You have the Fungus Farm, the Fountain of Youth. That's a place where you go drink, and you could. This one's kind of cool. 50-50 chance here. You have chosen poorly, you get sick, you have an injury, you place prone. You have chose wisely. Um, if you had niggling injuries or something like that before, you're healed. So it's kind of neat. Gluttonous greenhouse, and then a malodorous. I can't say that word.
Malodorous.
Malodorous marsh. Those are for the College of Life. The death tiles are the Werewolf Lair, the Hall of Bones, Swirling Mist, so it's like a fog, the Ghost Junction, which you have to roll to see if you're even going to go into that corridor, Necromancer's Laboratory, where you can pick up a mutation for the rest of the match, Corpse Chasm, the Spike Pit tile, and then we get on page 16. We have the year in review of the Emerald Crusaders. And I loved this. It went through the season highlights. It told you what the records were of the team before going into the playoffs, some of their highlights throughout the year. And what's funny in this is this tells a story. So this is why I love this fluff so much. The Emerald Crusaders were 11-3 going into the playoffs. It tells you like who their first round's opponents were, and they've lost both times to the College of Death. They Also talk about the award winners of like, player of the season, most valuable player, most touchdowns scored, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It does the same thing for the Black Widows, who went undefeated for the whole year through the playoffs, only to get beat by those upstart Emerald Crusaders in the finals.
Good always beats evil.
We have Ask Lord Borak, which I found kind of strange in this, but at the same time, it was kind of humorous.
Yeah.
The College Report. This was like a college kid interviewing Mindy Pie Whistle. This part was meh. It's filler, but at the same time, I mean, like, it's not bad. It's just like I don't like Mindy Pie Whistle, anyways. So.
No, a lot of that stuff is. I mean, it's obviously filler. If you like it, you like it. And sometimes I really like it. Sometimes I just don't care. You know.
There's another interview here with I guess his name is Laurel Swiftsong. He's the star war dancer for the College of Life, and he's supposed to be like super arrogant, and it shows. They talk about they make fun of themselves when she talks to a gentleman named William Puddlefoot. He's an assistant coach, and he plays with probability cubes and works out plays with little toy miniatures. He's like this little picture this halfling guy painting miniatures. It's making fun of us, and at the same time we love it.
Yeah, of course.
And really, if you read this article, it's trying to tell you like the less you roll dice, the better off your results are.
Stop being dumb.
It explains it clear as day. There's some new rules here for sponsorship deals. There's like 6 new sponsorships that give you your colleges like some extra things. Some of them are like shoes. Other ones are like you can make you can get Far Blast and Sons and make the treasure chest explode 2 squares away for bigger explosions, stuff like that.
See, a lot of those things, like, I would rather that be a random dungeon effect, like a weather effect, but you roll to randomly have it happen, rather than it being a sponsorship.
I get that. Then we get this is not needed, and you could say this is useless filler, but I love this, and I'm pretty sure the guy who does the regular artwork in the books,
Christian
the
Schwager.
cartoons.
Yeah.
Yes. Christian, was it Schwager?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think he did this. It looks almost like yearbook pictures
Yeah.
with the Emerald Crusaders College of Life. It has the person's name, their position. Same thing with the Black Widows and the College of Death. Just little headshots like they were in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I think it's great. It's super fluffy and great. And then for the last couple of pages 34 through 36, it lets you know, like, yeah, while there is like the Emerald Crusaders that play for the College of Life, there's other like little teams that also play for the College of Life, and they basically show you different like ways to paint your models.
Yeah.
And here's where they mention that there's actually Nurgle Rotters on the College of Life, because it's not really mentioned at all, fluff wise, for the Emerald Crusaders. And then there's also some more teams in the back here for like a College of Death. The last inside page of the cover or whatever is the Emerald Crusaders, all their team name and how they're painted. Overall, I think this is the real highlight of Dungeon Bowl expansion, is this Spike, and it always is. Whoever did this, you guys did very stellar work, because I went from a guy who was crying basically over how terrible the College of Beasts are, and I read this, and all I wanted to do was play Dungeon Bowl. all I thought about today is like, I should give Dungeon Bowl another chance, because there's so many cool stories that we can make happen out of this.
Of course, yeah.
So they did a great job, but where I will complain is I have 2 complaints. I don't know what that 875 is next to both of the teams.
It's probably something simple, like you said, the team value, but whatever.
Well, I wonder if it was an old production note or something that
Could be
stuck in there. But I would love to know. So if somebody knows what that means, please let me know. Educate us. And two, I believe it was in a year in review with the Emerald Crusaders. They talked about their what should have been their star player, which is the war dancer, that Lyril Swift song. But in the article, they call him a catcher. They call this person a catcher.
Huh.
And it drove me mad that like somebody didn't proofread this and call him a war dancer.
Yeah.
Here it is right here.
First thing to go is always the editor.
Maybe I read this wrong, so maybe I need to apologize right now.
Hey, well,
It says
you need an editor.
Tyrell Brightshard danced his way to the end zone while Lyril Swiftsong skillfully stiffed any tackles from the few beastmen who got too close to the nimble catcher. Okay, I'm wrong. I read that really fast and wrong the first time I read it.
I see. Yeah, I see how you
I
see
kind
that.
of like you just to edit that out, but let's don't.
Okay.
Um,
Fair enough. Less editing for me.
Is the catcher? Let's see if that's his name. Yeah, Brightshard is the catcher. Okay, I read that wrong. I thought, like, how did they mess this up?
You were thinking he's referencing himself instead of
Yes.
the other person. Yeah, that makes sense, the way it's written.
Okay, well, then my only complaint is I don't know what the 875 is.
So I think ultimately it kind of brings it down to we believe the price point on this is $100, right?
I was told 90 to 110, so yes, let's just say 100.
Okay. So for 100, we are getting 3.5 sprues, essentially figures, right? I'd say 4, but it's kind of like 3.5. Well, 4 sprues, 2 sprues to a box. Box is $55 now.
50, 55, something like that.
Okay. So we're talking right there, $100, and then a spike, $15, and then additional other stuff. The tiles.
Additional tiles.
So add $15 there. We're looking at 130. If this was 150, I would be upset, but I wouldn't say it's out of line. At $100, I think this is very fair.
I think everything's overpriced, but here's where I think if you told me this was $100 and they threw in one generic color of dice that we haven't got yet, you threw them into this box, I think everybody would love it.
Oh yeah, people would be buying it.
I think now, obviously, they don't have to throw in dice, and do we need dice? Hell no. But you throw in like some, see-through blue colors or
like the ones from Blitz Bowl, like the purple ones or pink ones, whatever.
Something like that, and then I think this turns into a must-buy for a lot of people when before it wouldn't have.
I still think you got the value worth. If you're wanting to get into Dungeon Bowl, despite what they say, yeah, you can get into it with this.
Oh gosh, yeah, you can get this. You can get the starter and have essentially 4 teams. Even though, like,
I'm just saying, without the starter, like, do we have enough tiles to make a dungeon though with just these? That would probably be pushing it.
No, and you don't have the end zone tiles. They didn't.
Oh, no end zones. That's true. Okay, that's fair enough.
No, but if your idea is to have some type of league, 4 people could go in, buy the Dungeon Bowl main set, buy this expansion, and split this stuff up and have enough. Now, the College of Death is really the only team that only needs those 2 sprues.
Yeah.
And after thinking about like my problems with a little bit of how it feels like the balance of the colleges are, like a few of them feel lesser than others. And the fact that this came with 2 sprues, I was trying to think of like, how could they pull this off again? And I haven't looked at the teams like super close. I mean, I could look at it now and say like, the College of Light, you could put a sprue of, Elven Union sprue in there with a sprue of maybe the Imperials, I guess, because the Retainer and Linemen. I don't know. But it made me think.
Possibly College of Fire, because Dwarves, Noblars, and Ogres.
Well, that already comes with the first one, Steve.
Fair enough.
That's okay. It's the same thing with the College of Shadow.
Uh huh.
I mean, I think you could do the metal maybe with the orcs and the humans, a sprue of each. But my real thinking was is maybe they've overthought this. Maybe just taking two teams, two sprues, and combining them could be their college. Or hell, three sprues. Three sprues and a large monster could be their college. So you have Nurgle Halfling, uh, the Wood Elves. And you leave it at the sprues, meaning you can't take normally, let's see, College of Life, you normally can take two war dancers. Maybe you're restricted by what's on that sprue. You get one war dancer. You get what I'm saying? One Wood
Yeah.
Elf catcher.
How about
You
this
get
alternatively make your own colleges?
Well, and in the old rules, that's what you did. You took a primary race, a secondary race, and a tertiary race to get that
Hmm.
third one.
I wonder if
Um,
we could still do that. Like, come up different.
oh,
I
you
don't
probably
know.
could. I know they want to incorporate every race or every team, but it was just a way of like you could have the College of Metal be, a sprue of corn, a sprue of humans, a sprue of orcs,
Hmm.
and the College of Beasts. Like that one might be too difficult, so you need to think of something else because it could be a sprue of corn. It could be like if we ever get Chaos Dwarves, it could be them and a sprue of vampires if we ever get them. But maybe they should restrict them by the sprue. It might simplify things, if that makes sense. Because right now they say you can have 0 to 16 of these linemen, and you have four different linemen to choose from. If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, like me looking at my team, I only have one lineman position. But if you tell me that I can only get some blitzer positions, I have two different people to pick from. If you look at blocker position, I have two different positions. But some of the teams have multiple positions, to pick from. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like College
I
of
just thought the
Heavens.
sprue idea would simplify it because you really could get like, oh, I got two whole teams. I don't need nothing else out
Yeah.
of this. And it would feel good, even if you didn't have enough. Let's say you wanted more linemen, because I'm a weirdo who likes having extra linemen. Maybe you need to go buy another sprue just for your lineman because you're weird because your name's Scott. But
Hmm.
you buy this and everything is pretty much complete.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, I'm looking at College of Heavens, and there's 10 different positions that you can get. It's just crazy. Three of them are 0
So
to 16.
yeah, okay. Is that the College of Heavens?
Yeah.
I mean, if you had to narrow that down to three sprues, it would be a sprue of lizardmen.
Hmm.
This one you could just make it Amazons and I
Norse.
guess Norse.
Yeah. No,
But
I,
if you
I
live,
think it's an interesting idea. I don't know the sprues well enough to even know what that would give us.
well, that means maximum for this team. If going by what I just said, three sprues, you could only have one Valkyrie
Yeah.
max. You could only have, you know, you would get two source. Is it two source blockers on the sprue? I don't know. I don't remember that.
So I'm
But
sure someone out there has done this. If you have a resource that shows us exactly what comes on each sprue in a box, please let us know and we can look into this further.
well,
Because I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's interesting. And back in the day, weren't you able to just buy a sprue of something? I don't. I'm
um,
sure you can't now, but I thought in the back in the day
no,
you
but you
could.
used to back in the day. You used to just order like bits from them, like,
That's
oh, I
true.
need one of this lineman, I need one of this, and
Oh, and
they overcharged you a whole lot, but you still got to buy the one piece.
I'm sure if I went on
Um,
eBay right now, I could buy a sprue of whatever race I wanted.
so when we first got this in, and you sent me the pictures and said, look what we got. This is nothing like we thought. This deathmatch thing.
Hmm.
It had the teams of sprues, two sprues each. I really thought in my, for whatever reason, I thought, oh, this is amazing. They gave us a Spike magazine. They're going to simplify this. They realize that they've done too much, and they're just going to make every college two sprues of something,
Nope.
and they're going to simplify it. And I was super excited. So while I read the Spike and was very happy, and I thought it was amazing, I kind of wanted a small rule set of them we're kind of fixing stuff to make this more streamlined.
And
But
again, I'm not against
we didn't
that
get that
idea.
far.
I think that would be interesting. Of have it as this is the premier level college, and there's one below it that has different types of teams, and then we can just go off as sprues because that's certainly a lot easier than trying to figure out. Okay, we got 10 different positions you can choose from, and
Well,
you can.
well, think about it this way. Let's use the College of Life, for example. You could say that this is the College of Life. They're made up of either halflings, wood elves, Nurgle. Pick two sprues. We don't care which direction you go. Okay, I'll take a sprue of Nurgle. I'll take a sprue of halflings, and I'm going.
I'm sure
And
the
that's your
problem there is the cost is going to be weird.
well, maybe so, but that's just an idea for it. The other thing I think that is missing from this, and it really is probably important, but at the same time, I guess it's not. I really think there should have been some type of paper insert like that comes with the models when you make them for the first time, and where it actually shows you all the options for the College of Life.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
While let's say Gary bought this box set, but he does not have regular Dungeon Bowl,
Yeah,
and
but they
you know
did
he
say this is not to be used on its own. They caveat that.
no, I understand, but just having that insert where he could see like, oh, cool, I could actually get a Nurgle warrior on this team. That's
Oh,
really awesome.
did you
That
look at
might
the
get him
bottom of the
go.
bottom box
No,
under the big
are
sheet?
you, are you telling me there's one of those there?
There is a paper thing under there.
Oh gosh, Steve.
Now, it's probably not what you're wanting, but I thought it was just the instructions on how to put stuff together.
Well, I'm looking right now.
For
Okay,
full
well,
clarity, I looked at it and then gave it to Scott, and he has it currently as we record.
it does have a thing on how to build the models. It does not have options to build the teams.
I
So,
didn't think so. Okay.
okay, it's still cool though.
Yeah.
Good to tell everybody, since I know not everybody knows how to build all these models. So,
Again, I still think at $100, this is a very fair value.
I agree. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I think
I
the
would rather pay $25 and just get a couple of sprues.
yeah.
I don't need the other teams, and I
I
like the
mean,
spike, but I don't need it.
oh, I like the spike. I would have
Remember
bought the spike on its own.
Yeah, but remember the coach pack that came out? The horrible thing?
Oh God, that was a
Like,
piece of garbage.
if they would do that with like a Dungeon Bowl coaches pack where it has, multiple pieces and multiple, some new shapes, a circle room instead of a square room. I don't know how you do that, whatever. Something different, zigzags or stairs to make 2 levels because that's never going to happen. But it'd be kind of neat.
Um,
I don't know.
Overall, I am shocked that we got a Dungeon Bowl expansion.
Me
I
too.
think it's really cool we got a Dungeon Bowl expansion. I hope this sells well. They'll never do it, but I'd love to see like 2 teams come out at the same time that have like a Blood Bowl version of this.
Yeah, I'm
Here's
really hoping
here's
they're
the
testing the waters on that because next year is the year, right? It's going to be 2020. No, next year is 2023. Never mind. I lied.
the every 4 years thing. Is that
Yeah.
what you're thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking next year is 2024.
Well, I don't know.
But anyways, I mean, that should be what they do from now on is, we going to do sea elves and we're going to do chaos dwarves. And it's a battle on the shores of Ziggurat or whatever. And one side is the sea elves and one side is the chaos dwarves. And you got 2 teams in there and the new dice and all that.
That would be epic.
It would
And
be.
people, and really, they could do that as long as they gave you a full team.
Mm-hmm.
They could charge even $20 more than what it normally would cost, and people would buy it.
Just like this, 2 sprues is all it takes. That's how much you get in a box. Now you don't get they've actually saved money because they don't have to worry about the making the boxes. So they wouldn't get the cool box art, even though they probably would release those individually anyways.
Right.
So you probably get double sales from some people. But yeah, there's
Yeah,
no
so
reason not to do it. And you don't need the extra rules. Just throw in the spike there, and you can sell the spike separately too.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to think of like what other expansion they could make for Dungeon Bowl where they just throw 2 sprues in there and then like you go, what are we gonna do with this like one weird model? And it's like, oh, that's where the Black Orc hangs out, and
Mm-hmm.
if you come in his room, he gets mad and he punches you.
Mm-hmm. It's Nobby the Noblar dick puncture. You walk past him and he punches you in the dick. No
Yeah.
effect against Amazons or Valkyries and some elves.
I mean, it could.
I mean, could be, yeah. Why not?
All right. Well, that wraps it up. I think they did this on purpose because they knew we started playing Dungeon Bowl and they listen to our podcast all the time, obviously.
Oh, they do. We know that.
So, anyways, GW, thank you for sending us this and trusting us with this. And
Oh, yeah. And to be very clear, GW did send this to us of their own volition for us to review. We did not purchase it. We appreciate their contributions. And say lovey. I mean, other than that, I got nothing.
the only thing I could say is be greedy and go, hey, GW, if you're listening, send 2 copies of all this stuff, and that would make us really happy. But now we're happy to get at least one. So
Absolutely happy. Yep.
it's been so hard, though.
Not to tell
Like
people.
on the internet, people have been going like, "Are we going to get anything from GW?"
I know.
I mean, we're not going to get nothing from GW, and it may happen to go like, "I don't know. There might be something down the pike." I think that surely they'll release a team. They always release something, and people are like, "Nah, you don't know what you're talking about."
Mm-hmm.
And then here we are.
Or they released it on Sunday and they're like, I wonder if we're gonna have this in the Dungeon Bowl box. I'm like, well, maybe you should pay attention to podcasts that come out on Saturday. I don't know.
Right. So it kind of also threw us a loop. We were all scheduled to, do a podcast about the tournaments, and then this happened, so we just decided to put it off. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, it feels like we're doing shout outs because we're both tired, and let's just take a break from this and then come back with some shout outs and wrap up the show.
And now, coming from the deepest, darkest depths of the dungeons of Alcorn, we bring you Scott Primes.
Shout outs.
I prefer that much better, so maybe we should do that from now on. Okay.
I just didn't. I got like teenagers in the other room, and I'm already the weird dad. So
well, that's true.
My teenage kids are being teenagers by having teenagers over here, and I had to feed all these little, pirates, and they still probably hate me, but that's what you do.
That is what you do. So speaking of shout outs, shout out to Pizza for calming children since 19 I don't know, whatever.
Does pizza calm children?
Shut them up, didn't it?
Oh, that's true. It filled their belly, that's for sure. I have shout outs like of people I've seen at tournaments and stuff, but at the same time, I need to save them for like other
fair enough
stuff, like next episode.
So, our main shout out, as anytime we get to review something's GW, cannot go without saying how much we appreciate the fact that they trust us, and everybody online is jealous of, like, why do you guys get preview copies? I should do that. I'm like, yeah, bug them for 10 years. That's what it took. But it is cool to get stuff and have that in advance and be like, this is so cool. Come look at this. Look at this. Take a look at this photo.
Yeah, it was pretty epic to get that stuff in the mail, especially since we didn't have any clue of what like Death Bowl meant or anything like that, or Death Match.
I didn't bring this up in the review, but I kind of expected them to have 2 more end zones and make it a 4-player game.
I can see that.
But I don't know how well that would work, because then you've got to get it to any of the end. It just sounds like horrible. It sounds horrible.
Yeah. Sounds really bad. Do we have any other shout outs besides like shout outing GW?
I didn't honestly look since this was kind of a semi-episode, but let me go look.
All right. Because
you're not wrong. I should look. We do have one from Ollie, he's hosting a Gobbo-themed tournament in Folkestone, Kent, UK, on Saturday, the 4th of February, and just wanted to give us a shout out. And I'm like, absolutely. He's also AKA Eldritch Fox, and we can get the link to the rules up on our notes. Shoot that over to Scott right now.
Okay.
I believe that really is
So we don't have much.
not
We're,
much. I mean,
we're forgetting a bunch of stuff. So
we also have stuff specifically for Duffalween and things.
yeah. So I'm gonna quickly shout out. Thank you for everybody for coming up for Nuffleween and supporting us on that tournament. I will probably thank you again next episode, but thank you for buying the fundraiser tickets to help my daughter go to San Antonio on a band trip for spring break. If anybody out there is also wanting to purchase these crazy tickets where you basically buy a lottery ticket for $10 and you could win 25 grand. It's through the whole state of Oklahoma, and $8 of the $10 ticket goes to my daughter's credit towards the band trip. So if that's something you're interested, get a hold of me and we'll see if we can hook you up. We're selling those tickets, I think, to the 1st of February. I did not realize how many people were in band. So you talk to people about this and they go, "Oh, awesome band."
So
And I
here's
love
the
band.
thing. You don't understand this because you played football, but
And
regular and wrestling, yeah.
powerlifting,
Okay.
track
Anyways,
and field.
fuck you. So regular nerds like me don't want to do physical stuff. So when it comes to school, they're like, "Hey, you want to do band or do you want to do PE?" You mean we get to pick which one? Yeah, you can either. If you do band, you don't have to do the PE requirement. Oh hell yeah, I'm taking band. And those nerds who don't want to do PE, who went into band, now sit on their butts to play Blood Bowl.
Hmm.
So that's why there's a
I,
big crossover.
I thought all the Blood Bowl crowd was people, old athletes who live vicariously through little miniatures and dice
That's
and
like
get mad
one
at
out of
math
20.
when they fail.
That's like maybe 1 out of 20 people.
Well, that is me, and that is Gary Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So
It
when we get so angry, it is because we are living vicariously through our little miniatures,
it
and
is
it's
kind
still
of
real to
weird.
us.
It is kind of weird that you guys got into it, being the more athletic people that you are.
Dude, that was the lure for Blood Bowl. Is it was sports, and it was like D&D and sports mixed together.
Yeah,
That's why we loved it. That's why it became a sports role playing game to
I get
us.
it.
So yeah, I don't have anything. I'm just gonna thank the people. Thank the people I saw in Kansas City. It was nice seeing you. I'll try to mention you by name if I can remember next month on the podcast.
Yeah, and we'll probably get it out semi early, depending on how
I
the
mean,
holidays
it's
go.
not Thanksgiving here yet in America as we record, but by the time you listen in the future or the present as you're listening, our future, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you had a nice weekend.
Yeah, and the day after, and yay, December's here already. Jeez.
It feels like we just started the year, and here
Mm-hmm.
we are.
Dang, we got Downies next month. Or do we do that in January?
We do that in January.
Okay. Well, anyways, yeah, so we're going to cut this off now before we ramble into oblivion.
Yeah, because I'm kind of in that tired stage where I'm like ready to go to bed, and at the same time, I could like ramble on like an old man on his porch yelling at children, "Get out of my yard."
Exactly.
So
Okay.
take us out, Steve.
Let's go. Autobots, roll out. That's horrible. I'm not going to be Drew.
God, that was
I
bad,
wasn't even
dude.
trying. I didn't really.
Let's go, Autobots.
I just kind of was like, let's go. When I tried to say go, I was like, let's roll out. I'm like, oh, no, I can't do that.
Oh, speaking of, here we go. Here's our
Okay, here we go.
tangent.
Tangent.
Okay, so you did not order the Blood Bowl magic stuff, right?
Right, I did not.
Okay. Um, in the latest set of Magic the Gathering, it's called The Brothers War. It's Urza versus Mishra or whatever
Mm-hmm.
from back in the day. It's like set in the old time period or something like that. Um, For alternative cards, they have Transformer cards that are double-sided, so they can different effects make them flip for whatever reason. And a lot of them are legendary characters. Therefore, you can make commanders with them. Now, my theory is you're going, why would they even have Transformers? My theory is that Hasbro, who had the rights to the Transformer game, had a bunch of artwork already done. And therefore, they needed some type of chase card. They've already paid the artist for this artwork. And they said, screw it, put the Transformers in there. They're like brothers who fight in a war for Cybertron.
I mean, I think you're probably right, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Anyways, they do kind of look cool. The bad thing is it's Magic, and I think Magic's boring as hell. So
I enjoy Magic, but I get it. I also stopped playing, so.
That was my tangent.
Okay, tangent over, and us over and out.
See ya.
See, he tells me to take it out, and I do it, and then he just pipes in.
I gotta get. See y'all.
You can follow Both Down on Twitter at Both Down. You can follow Scott at
Real Scott Prime.
and Steve at Kilowog2814. If you'd like to email them, the email address is bothdownpodcasts@gmail.com. Or for more information, you can visit them at bothdown.com or at facebook.com/bothdown.
I'll never forget my first game of College Dungeon Bowl. My professor looked me in the eyes and said, "Listen, keep an eye on the Warhawks. I've got 50 gold on them gutting at least 3 goblins." That's when I knew I was destined to be a pitch side reporter. Those days were something else. Now, the colleges are opening up the dungeons again, and they're going to need some new blood in the teams. And on the walls, and the floor, who knows? Maybe you'll be a star player yourself one day.